Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Slakey here on Daybreak. I got two great guests on the air with me as we continue conversating about Oysterfest. It is upcoming this weekend. I have Dave Arbaugh and Patti Case in studio. Good morning.
Good morning,
Good morning, Jeff.
Nice to see you in here and talk about a couple great things that are coming up for Oysterfest. We are talking with you guys today about kids and food. There is a lot of food, obviously, and at the end we'll make sure we get your guys' favorite dishes of Oysterfest. But let's start with what the kids can do. I'm looking through the great Oysterfest magazine here, from golfing to gooey ducks. There's plenty to see and do, and the kids get involved. What are some of the things this year that the kids are going to be able to join in and have a lot of fun with, Patti?
Well, if you don't know about the touch tanks, to my mind, that's the coolest thing ever.
Uh-huh.
So you actually get to get in and get up close and personal with starfish and sea cucumbers and sea urchins and all those cool things in the marine waters. And our friends at Marine Education Science Society, or MESS, actually do that. Very fun, and right up front, right up by the oyster shucking stage. So that'll be very cool.
That's right. It's a very popular event, and even all the way through the weekend, not just on Friday morning. Friday, it's terrific because the kids who are students in the area have an opportunity to take a field trip out to the venue and spend some time with these touch tanks and learning about all of this. But all of that is open all the way through the weekend as well.
It is a nice note when you come in and you hear the laughs and sometimes screams from the kids as they get close to touching those things under the water. For a lot
so
of
those sea cucumbers turning themselves inside out, I'd scream too.
For many of the folks coming in, you know, perhaps a first opportunity to see something like this.
Absolutely. Get up close and personal like that. You bet.
The other things that you always see, you gotta watch out for the train that comes around.
Yeah, the train. That's Christmastown, Kiwanis. And I don't know whether you know this, Jeff, but they started several years ago. They wanted to bring kid stuff to Oysterfest. Yeah. And so they do that lovely little train that goes around, and somebody just called it the squeaker train.
I can see
which
why,
fits, right? The little horns going. Yeah. And then there's putt-putt golf, right, Dave?
That's right. There's a golf setup just, I think it's just north of the microbrew area, just a little bit south of where the trains will be. And so there's opportunities to hone your golf skills.
Or not.
Or not. Between your consumption of vast amounts of seafood.
Lots of seafood at Oysterfest. We see...
there are some kids' food, too. Those kids who aren't real fond of oysters yet, although I certainly was when I was 3.
Right.
There are hot dogs and corn dogs and cotton candy and caramel apples. There's a new one this year, a deep frozen frozen cheesecake on a stick. That sounds pretty good.
That does sound good.
And then there's chocolate-covered strawberries. Who doesn't like that?
Nice.
Yeah.
So there is some opportunities for the pickier eaters, perhaps.
Yes, or as we used to call my son, the blonde eaters.
Nice and plain on this one, pretty vanilla. So then let's talk a little bit more about the food. Some of the highlights that I always hear every year. Of course, the curried mussels are a favorite. The coconut shrimp, people stand in line as soon as they get in. They go get in line.
And good news there. We have one more fryer there, so hopefully the lines will go down. They were better last year, weren't they, Dave?
They were definitely shorter or quicker last year, but it should move much more quickly this year because they've expanded. Those guys, the senior services folks, have done a terrific job of trying to beef up their operation, bring in more equipment to meet the amazing demand for that.
It's just amazing. It is amazing how many people stand in line as soon as they get there. 100 deep at least.
Those
sometimes.
of us who work Oysterfest have to have a proxy stand in line.
Yeah, I mean, I have other stuff to do. I need
either that or have it for breakfast.
Yep, that's exactly right. Dave, what about you? What are some of your favorites at Oysterfest?
Well, I think it's fun to try to find some of the hidden, I call them hidden gems. There is I always make a point to get some of the gumbo that the Mount Moriah group brings in. This year, too, there are a couple of newer ones. We've had fish tacos in the past, but they took a break, and they're coming back this year, so I think that that would be a good one to try. And then I've also made a note to take a look at seafood crepes.
Oh.
Crepes are being brought in by a high school robotics club. And I've never had a seafood crepe, and I think it'll be great to try. I'm not sure if robots will be
they're the ones flipping them or not.
We'll find out more when we get there. I think.
Very cool.
The fish tacos are going to be served by our Mason County Seniors Activity Center, which is great. Great way to support them. We also have new this year again, Union City Masons have done a variety of things over the years, and they're bringing barbecued ribs this year.
Oh.
And then Union McCreevy House, the folks who are trying to fix up that great old haunted house up there in Union, are going to bring us oyster and shrimp po' boys, and we're going to get some bacon wrapped oysters back.
Oh, good. That's always
exciting.
A big one.
Yeah.
It's a very popular item.
I just want to give a shout out to the folks at Crossroads Housing also, because Shelton Lyons, sadly, was unable. They don't have the capacity to do clam chowder this year, so Crossroads Housing picked it up at the last minute. So we'll have some clam chowder. And you can't have a seafood festival without clam chowder.
No.
Really? Can you?
No, you can't.
There you go.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All of these food vendors do help the local nonprofits around the area, so you can always help out them by going and trying just about everything there at Oysterfest, and it is a great organization that helps to put on throughout the days here, the Skookum Rotary, the 36th annual Oysterfest. It's this upcoming weekend. Lots of things. So how many new food vendors do you think this year? You were counting off a couple there, but
I think about 5.
That's great.
Maybe about 5, and probably about 45 total. So there are a lot of organizations, and these are, as you mentioned, these are all nonprofits in the community, and so it's just turned into a terrific way to raise money for a lot of good stuff that these organizations do. So
You bet.
We are happy to support them, and they're supporting us as well by their participation.
So plenty of things to try and taste, lots of things for the kids, and included with that some normal fare food, hot dogs and things like that for the kids. So don't worry about that coming out here.
Don't forget the elephant ears.
Oh, there's elephant ears too?
Absolutely.
Every
sure.
year.
Of course there are.
I don't know
Delicious.
how elephants and marine waters, whatever, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Sea elephants.
There we
we
go.
go.
Is that like a manatee or something like that?
I like it.
Narwhal in there. Very nice. Dave Arbaugh, Patti Kaysen, talking Oysterfest. You can learn more at oysterfest.org, and we'll put the links in the show notes on this one. Nice to have you in today to talk about this.
Thanks, Jeff.
We'll see you this weekend.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.